individual in this room that is outraged, disgusted, sad, and offended with the course that our nation has been directed in by our elected officials that are running our country. I hope that we can agree that our government has been taken over by greedy politicians who are no longer concerned with the needs of average Americans, but are instead focusing on their bank accounts, keeping their position in office, and big banks in America. I believe that this has been a domino effect from a much larger crisis that has been happening in America. The lack of voter participation from the citizens of the United States has become a problem. So today I'm going to talk to you about the importance of young people voting. First, we will talk about how your rights are at risk. Second, we will discuss how the biggest election issues often directly affect the youth of our nation. Third, we will discuss that it is your right to vote. And last, we're going to discuss how it's your responsibility to vote. Okay, so your rights are at risk. You're probably wondering how that is. Whenever you don't take the time to vote and get to know the people who are in office, you run the risk of having somebody in office who thinks totally opposite of the way that you think. For instance, you might be pro-choice. The person that you elect into office is pro-life, and then they might start passing laws about things that you don't agree with. So someone in office is always going to be making decisions about your rights. If you don't get involved, then you're not going to have a say-so. You have to prioritize your values and your beliefs whenever somebody's running for office. You have to think what's more important to you. Is abortion and marriage more important to you, or is the economy more important to you? And you have to learn what that elected official's opinions are and values are on those things. Us being young in the United States, the biggest election issues are often directed at the youth of the nation. Wars, reproductive rights, public funding for education, and taxes all directly affect us. If we go to war, who's going to be fighting the wars? The young people of the United States, not the politicians who are in office making these decisions and starting these fights. It's going to be the young men and women of America who are just joining the Army or the Navy, the Marines, to pay their college, to pay, they don't have any other way, so they join the war, or they join the military. Reproduction rights, abortions, being able to have access to birth control. The young women of the United States of America cannot sit here and have unplanned pregnancy after unplanned pregnancy because of somebody's moral rights not allowing you to take care of your reproductions. Public funding for education is the most important. Pell Grants. The average college student pays about $1,500 to $2,000 per semester. A lot of college students don't have that type of money, and their parents aren't able to provide them with that money. We get our funding from public education and from the state of Texas, and if that's not available to us, there's not any way that we're going to be able to go to school. That's point blank. That's not going to change. Taxes. The way the taxes are increasing, it's increasing on us, the young people. First of all, we can't pay for our education. We go and we rack up these loans, so we have to go get a job, and all of our money from our job is going to go and pay for the taxes for the war that has been started by the politicians. It's a cycle, and it's never going to end. And the decisions that are made today are going to have lasting effects. All these decisions that are made in 2012, us young people, we're going to be able to feel the repercussions of them 20 years from down the road. It's your right to vote. Whenever the United States was founded, our founding fathers, they wanted a democracy. They wanted a country that that was in the hands of the people, not in the hands of the government. That's the reason that they made the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and all the rest of the documents that are holding our country up today. All of it says that the country is in the hands of the voters, and it's up to you what happens. Many people dedicated their lives to ensure equal voting opportunities for all citizens. Before the Civil War was fought, the only people who were able to have a say-so in the voting were white men who owned property. After the Civil War, black men could vote, but as long as they didn't have opportunity, or as long as they didn't fight in the Civil War. After that, many women weren't able to vote until 70, 100 years after that. So there was many marches for equal rights for all men and women, whether you own property, whether you were black, whether you were young, whether you're old, whether you fought in the war, whether you didn't fight in the war. Many people lost their lives, many people were arrested, many people dedicated all their money to protect your right to vote. You also have a responsibility as an American to vote. You're doing your part to better the country for your children. If you don't vote and you don't get things put in court today, like I said earlier, these decisions have lasting effects. Our decisions that we make today are going to affect our children. And we don't want to leave them a country that is ridden in debt, that is ridden with dirty politicians. We want to leave them a country that our founding fathers wanted to leave us, a country like the one they wanted to leave us. If you don't vote, you have no right, no responsibility, no room to complain about anything that's going on in the United States. So you always want to get out there and vote. So today I have expressed the importance of young people casting their votes in the elections. So remember, your rights are at risk whenever you don't vote. The biggest election issues often directly affect the youth of our nation. That's us. It's your right to vote, and you have the responsibility to vote. So get informed so you can start to make better decisions, and get motivated because it's going to take a massive movement to start changing things. And it is up to us to secure a healthy nation for our future and for the future of our children.
Thank you. Finally. Good job.